I never believed in ghosts. I never bought into the idea of haunted houses or demonic possessions. But this wasn't some paranormal experience. What happened to me was real. There was a man living in my walls, and I had no idea. This all started when I moved into a small apartment in Portland, Oregon about 3 years ago. I had just gotten out of a long-term relationship, and I needed a place of my own. I found a decent one-bedroom unit in an old brick building that looked like it had been around since the early 1900s. The rent was cheap, but the apartment was surprisingly nice. Clean floors, working appliances, and big windows that let in plenty of light. At first, everything seemed normal. It was just another quiet place in a quiet city. But within the first few weeks, I started noticing small things that, at the time, I brushed off as nothing. Some nights, I would wake up to strange creaking sounds, like the wooden floors were shifting under pressure. Other times, I would find my fridge slightly open in the morning, or my bathroom door cracked open when I knew I had shut it. I figured I was just being careless. Maybe I hadn't closed the fridge all the way, or maybe the apartment was just settling. Old buildings make noises, right? But then the smell started. It wasn't strong at first, just a faint, musty odor that came and went. At first, I thought maybe it was coming from the pipes. Old plumbing, mildew buildup, whatever. But over the next few weeks, it got worse. It smelled like something rotten, like meat that had been left out for too long. I checked the fridge, the garbage, even under the sink, but I couldn't find the source. It was just there, lingering in the air. And then, one night, I woke up to something that still haunts me to this day. I heard whispering. It was faint, so quiet that I almost thought I was dreaming. But I wasn't. It was real. It sounded like it was coming from the walls. I sat up in bed, my heart hammering in my chest. The whispering was low, almost rhythmic, like someone was muttering to themselves just a few feet away. I held my breath and listened, trying to make out what was being said. Then silence. The room was dead quiet, except for the soft hum of the refrigerator in the other room. I told myself I was just tired, that my brain was playing tricks on me. But deep down, something didn't feel right. A few days later, I had a couple of friends over for drinks. As we sat in my living room, my buddy Matt pointed to the small door inside my bedroom closet. "Dude, what's that?" he asked. I had noticed it when I moved in, but I never thought much about it. It looked like a simple access panel, maybe for plumbing or electrical work. "I dunno," I shrugged. "Probably just maintenance stuff." Matt wasn't convinced. "Let's check it out." I didn't see the harm, so we grabbed a flashlight and pried the little door open. What we found behind it made my stomach drop. It was a crawl space. A dark, narrow tunnel that extended behind the walls. The air that came out smelled stale, like something had been rotting in there for years. The space was barely big enough for a person to fit inside, but when we aimed the flashlight inside, we saw something. A sleeping bag. An empty water bottle. A half-eaten granola bar. Someone had been living in there. My friends and I just stared in shock. "Dude," Matt whispered, "this is messed up." I felt sick. I had been sleeping just a few feet away from this. Had someone been sneaking into my apartment at night, watching me? We slammed the little door shut and sealed it with duct tape, trying to shake off the unease. I convinced myself that it was just old stuff left behind by a previous tenant. Maybe a homeless person had broken in at some point and squatted in the crawl space. But that night, I woke up to something I'll never forget. I heard breathing. Not my own, someone else's. It was deep, slow, and deliberate, coming from inside my room. My body froze. My mouth went dry. I didn't move, I just lay there listening. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw the closet door move. Just a little. Just enough for me to see that the crawl space door was open. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight, aiming it at the closet. The second the light hit it, the breathing stopped. I jumped out of bed and ran to the closet, yanking the door open. Nothing. The crawl space door was slightly ajar. My stomach churned. I slammed it shut and locked my bedroom door. The next morning, I called my landlord and told him what happened. I expected him to be shocked, but instead he sounded oddly calm. "Yeah, I'll send someone over to check it out," he said. That was it. No urgency, no concern. That night, I set up my phone to record while I slept. I placed it on my dresser, facing the closet, and hit record. When I watched the footage the next morning, my blood ran cold. At around 3:30 a.m., the closet door slowly creaked open. A tall, thin man crawled out of the crawl space. He stood there watching me. For several minutes, he didn't move. He just stood there, breathing heavily, staring at my bed. Then he turned and crawled back inside the wall. I called the police immediately. When they arrived, they tore open the crawl space completely. Inside, they found a makeshift bed, old food wrappers, and worst of all, a collection of Polaroid photos. Photos of me, sleeping, showering, sitting on my couch. The man was never caught. The police think he must have escaped through the building's walls before they got there. I moved out that same day. But sometimes, late at night, I still get that feeling, like I'm being watched. And I can't help but wonder, is he still out there, hiding in someone else's walls? This was the most terrifying experience of my life. I don't know what would have happened if I never found that crawl space. But if you ever move into an old apartment, check your walls. You never know who might already be living there. Have you ever had a terrifying experience like this? Let me know in the comments.